Hey yo, I have a hopefully really helpful episode planned for you guys today. I'm going to do a little deep dive with you on how I use Aftershoot in my business and how it affects my business, my job, my personal life, my mental health, my workflow, all the things. I'm super pumped to I'm super pumped to share about this with y'all because I'm super pumped to share with y'all about this life-changing program because it truly has been that. And I don't share anything with y'all that I don't truly love. So I'm here to speak the truth. Facts, okay? So before we get into the nitty-gritty though, it's time for our 30 seconds of silence. And for this one, I really just want you to enjoy that 30 seconds of silence. Just soak in that really quick, quiet break before we have to get into an episode where we might use a little bit more brain power than normal, because we got to pay attention and think about how we can make this work in our business and how we can make it work for our workflow and all that kind of stuff. So here is your calm before the storm. Y'all, I will die on this hill. AI is such a useful tool that we should be using in our business. We should be taking advantage of this, but in the right way. We definitely need to be trying out programs that work for us and see how they can fit into our business program, model, system, all that stuff. But just don't be waiting on using AI related things because you could be saving so much time and energy. And Aftershoot is one of those AI programs that saves me big time. I will admit I was very skeptical at first, not gonna lie. I was using Narrative Select to cull all of my images, and I really loved all their features. They had the eyes, eye open detection, so you could see just even fully zoomed out. They had a little icon that says if everybody's eyes are open. If you hit the space bar, it zoomed straight into their faces, which was really nice, and it grouped your images by scene. So let's just say you were doing wedding party photos, right? It would group your full length horizontal images all together, and then it would group your the full wedding party. And then if you got closer to them and you were doing waist up, it would group all of those together. And then if you did any vertical, it would group those together, and it would automatically choose which photo of those was the best based off of number one, if everybody's eyes were open, and number two, how in focus it was. So you could see the best images of each scene is what they call it. And I loved all of those things. I was nervous to try a fully AI software that culled my images for me because it just didn't seem like it was going to work. But then I thought about how Narrative Select was already kind of using those features, and I liked them, and everything was going so much smoother and so much faster for me. And so I was like, well, I might as well give it a go because I'm not going to know what I'm missing unless I try it, And if I don't like it, I will just go back to culling the photos myself in Select. It's not like whatever Aftershoot is doing for me is going to be permanent. It's not going to permanently damage your images or get rid of your images, delete them or something like that. So it can all be redone, which would suck to have to redo work, but sometimes investing in a new system or a new software does take a little bit of time to train it, to learn it, to figure out how to readjust your workflow for it, but it ends up being way worth it in the long run if it obviously is a good program for you and a good fit. So y'all, I'm so glad I took a chance on Aftershoot. The first thing you have to be aware of is that Aftershoot will learn the more that you use it. So the first few times it culled for me, it wasn't amazing. It wasn't wow, totally done, didn't have to make any changes, perfect, right? But it got most of the images that I would have chosen. And I just went back and added some that I liked and then swapped others out because I liked them more. But the more that you use it, the more that it understands what you want. So that's the first thing that I'm going to preface this whole episode with is I'm going to tell you how I use it in my business and how it works for me. And then if you go and try it and it's it sucks, quote unquote, you're like, wow, this didn't get any of the images I want. Don't just stop there. Like, keep giving it a try, like however much time you want to invest in it, right? Like maybe have it cull 3 or 4 sessions for you or something until you finally decide to like officially give up. But just remember that it's going to learn your preferences as you go. You got to train AI. It's going to learn. So just remember that. The first thing you want to do, I'm kind of going to give you a step-by-step process of what I do and like how I use Aftershoot and how it fits with my workflow. So when I get home, I plug my SD card into my computer and I drag all of those photos into a folder on my external hard drive. And I just label it like the name of the session, whatever it was, or the name of the wedding. For this purposes, we're just going to say session. So I name it to the couple's names or whatever, and then drag all the photos in there. Once they're transferred onto my external hard drive, I will open up Aftershoot, navigate to that folder where I just put all my raw photos in, and then I will say, like, you just, select the folder, and then it will start like showing you little thumbnail previews of all of the images. Then you click the button that says cull. And also, I'm recording this in October of 2024. So if you're listening to this later, they could have updated some stuff. So like the process might not be exact, but this is what I use. I'm also going to pull it up on my computer so that I can kind of be walking with you kind of step by step on what I'm doing. But yeah, so once you import all of your photos and from that folder, it'll kind of show you the little thumbnails, and then you're going to hit the button that says cull. And so after you cull, you're going to select your preferences. And this is where I think a lot of it comes in to like set it up the right way first, because you want to choose like it. The good thing about Aftershoot is it will like let you pick how you rate your images. So if you use colors, if you use stars, if you use flags, that kind of stuff, you don't have to change that. You can tell it what you want it to do. So I know photographers who use all 5 stars, who use all of the colors, who use all of the whatever. I keep it really simple, and I do 2 stars for highlights, like the ones I'm including in the sneak peeks, and I usually include like 30-ish of them, and like that's with black and white. So I'll say 25 of them within a 125 photo gallery. And then the other are 1 stars. So that's not like the 25 of the 2 stars is included in the entirety of the 125. You don't select like how many specific photos you want it to give you. You'll select based off a sliding scale, like if you want more photos or less photos or like in the middle. I always do less. Like I'm always way over on like the very, very end of less photos. I'm like, the less photos, the better, please. What it does basically is it's going to group. You also can choose how you want it to group. Like if you want it to be like more strict with how it groups, meaning, or more loose with how it groups. So if you do like the loose option, then you're going to have more groupings, and then it's going to choose more photos because it's going to basically choose 1 photo from each grouping. So if you select it to be loose with the groupings, let's just say it gives you like 500 groupings, and it's going to give you 500 images because it's going to pick 1 from each of the groupings. If you want it to be more strict with the groupings or the scenes, however you want to call it, then it's going to obviously do less groups. It might be 200. And then it will say, I'm going to give you 1 of each of those, which only gives you 200 photos. I'm like on the very least amount of photos you can give me. These are just my personal settings because I already over deliver and because I go back through these somehow, which we'll get to, and I will add some more in there that I like. And so then it usually ends up being around the same amount that it picks for me in the initial cull. But I just don't want to have to go through like a million photos. Like that's the point of doing AI. So I'm like, less photos. The less photos you can give me, the less photos that I want. I personally just do 2 stars and 1 stars. Don't do any colors. Don't do anything. Like it will automatically choose some of the colors, like purple for eyes closed and red for blurred, and like green for green for the 1 stars and blue for the highlights, all that kind of stuff. You can change all that to be whatever you want it to do. It doesn't matter, but those settings will import with you into Lightroom, which is very helpful. So whatever you want to set it at, and it's gonna carry over with you into Lightroom, which is awesome. And so then you basically just like select, once you hit like cull, it's gonna ask you what the type of session is. So you can choose weddings, family, newborn, sports, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of strict, not like strict, but like it's kind of limited with the options that it chooses. It does have like a boudoir photography option. The only reason that I have it, what I've noticed is basically If you choose like newborn or boudoir, it's going to choose more of the eyes closed photos because those are typically photos that are in newborns and boudoirs. It's like your eyes might be closed more, right? So it won't like pass over that image and mark it as like not a choice because your eyes are closed. So you can basically kind of let the software know that there will be eyes closed in here and that's okay. And I want those. And then you hit cull and then you walk away and it's amazing. It's amazing. So then when you come back, it has everything already sorted for you into those scenes, like I was talking about, or those groups. And so it's going to take all of the similar images, all of the images that are taken, not like over the whole like session, but just in that one, like if you change angles, if you change your settings, if you change your lighting, if you, whatever, like it's all going to be grouped in already, like pre-grouped, and it's going to select the best photos for you. And it'll tell you like, okay, you've gotten 200 out of 1400 photos. So like, cool. It culled everything down to 200 for me. Honestly, what I do is I just go through those 200 images and like most of the time I'm just looking at it and I'm like, yep, that's good. Next. Yep, that's good. Next. Yep, that's good. Next. And that's how it has sped up the process for me, is because I'm not having to go through the 10 identical photos that I took. They're literally belly to belly, foreheads together. I don't need to go through 10 pictures and figure out which one is the best one. It's going to automatically choose, this is the sharpest one. This is one where they're like, looking at the camera, whatever. Like it's going to choose that for me. And so I'm like, done, 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 done. The only time I go through it is because when you're going through these images, there's a little dialogue on the bottom right-hand screen where you can see other images in that same grouping. So you can see the other 10 images that were in that grouping. And if you can kind of see over there that like, oh, there is one where their eyes are closed, or there's maybe it's like he's kissing her on the cheek and she's laughing a bunch, and you want to grab a few more from that instead of just the one that it chose. You can easily go through those with the up and down arrows and just pick which ones you want and just hit A to add it. And then you use the left and right to go like obviously to the next picture. So that is so quick for me because if I am in this, I'm going through each and every photo, like the 200 that it chose for me, but I have complete control over it and add in photos that I want to add in that I think not that it missed, but just like, again, sometimes it might only choose one like cute little laughing picture, but I want to add a couple. Or maybe I'm doing like a dress twirl. I might go through the dress twirl photos a couple times just because I'm like, I want to choose the right one where like the dress is whipping the right way, or like her hair is flowing in the right way, or whatever it is. I might add a few of those. Or maybe I did a GIF. I took a bunch of pictures to make into a GIF. And so I need to go in and manually add those. That does kind of get annoying, is because I have to add like every single like 70 images just to get to be able to add it for a GIF. Bottom line, you still have control over what you are choosing to edit and what you're not, because I still go through the gallery. Like I still go through those 200 photos and figure out if those are the best ones or not. It's not going to do it 100% fully done perfectly for you unless it's like a really, 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 really simple gallery. I think there's only been twice where it's like culled everything and I haven't had to make a change, or maybe I just like remove an image and that's it. And that's been like headshots or something like really basic and easy. But it's what the purpose of it is, that it's taking away the noise is kind of what I like to think about it. So it's like those 10 images that I took of them forehead to forehead, I don't need to go through all 10 of them when they look pretty much the same. Like just pick the one that's the sharpest for me and we're going to move on. You know what I'm saying? So instead of having to go through 1,400 photos from a session, I'm only going through 200 photos of the session, and then maybe like the 200 that it chose for me. And then occasionally, like if there's a dress twirl or if there's some laughs or if there's like tag or something that I'm getting to do that has a lot of movement, I might go through those. But that's still only like such a small section of the session that I'm culling that I don't have to worry about culling the rest of it. So instead of it taking me 2 hours to go through, especially because I originally, before even using Narrative Select, I was using Lightroom. Then once I switched to Narrative Select, it was grouping the photos for me, and it did something similar where it was like, okay, this is the best photo, but it also just loaded the pictures faster. So like instead of it taking like an hour or two to cull through a 1,400 photo session, like now it only takes me, I would say max 30 minutes, max. And that's like if it's a big gallery and like the couple's just really fun and I'm like enjoying myself way too much and I'm like adding a million photos to it, right? There are groupings. Like I said, it does label things if things are blurred or things are eyes closed. So it now, because I've been using it so much, narrative, oh my gosh, Aftershoot has figured out that I like to have some of these blurry images, like, you know, the trendy blurry images. And so it will usually choose one for me because it knows like I did this intentionally. And same with eyes closed. It's not going to like rule out a picture just because your eyes are closed, because I've taught it that. I'm like, oh, I'm adding this because I want their eyes closed. Like, they're just soaking in this moment, right? But if you know that you had some of those images and you're missing them, you don't see it when it culls, especially initially, you can go to the color filters that's literally just blurred or eyes closed, and it will filter out all the images where their eyes are closed. And it might be like 50 photos. And you can just go through those 50 photos and be like, add this one, and then add this one. Done. Go to the blurred images and you're like, oh, there's one of them walking and holding hands, or like he's holding her dress while they're going down the steps. Like, I want that one and I want that one. And then you move on. And it's still so much faster because you're just going to those, they're already separated out by the filters of being blurred or being blurred or being eyes closed. And you can just move on from there. It's just so much faster. So yeah, that's honestly like the process of actually using Aftershoot and like how I've gotten the culling to work for me and how much time it saved me. Like I said, I would take like an hour or two to cull through a gallery, all of the photos on a good day. And then now it only takes me max 30 minutes just to go through everything, and then I'm done. So then what I do from there is I create a new Lightroom catalog for every single session. So I'll open up Lightroom, create a new catalog. I will name it the same as the folder, just like whatever the name of the session was. And then within Lightroom, there's a button that you can click that says export to Lightroom. I believe it also does Lightroom Classic, Lightroom Cloud. I think there's other programs like editing programs that it uses as well that you can export straight to. But I obviously use Lightroom Classic. So you just click export to Lightroom Classic and it's going to open up your Lightroom catalog that you just created. And it will show all of your images in the import dialog. It automatically opens the import dialog. And then you just rename and build smart previews and put them in the folder, like everything like you would do as normal. And it just imports for you. And then once the photos are done importing, you will see all of the filters and the stars and all of the ratings, like however you wanted to set that up. You will see that in your Lightroom, which is pretty freaking cool because it's not like you have to go back through and do it again. Or like, again, if it chooses your highlights for you, then you're like, dang, my sneak peeks are already chosen. They're already separately labeled. Like, I just click on that to filter them out in Lightroom and I can start editing them. It's pretty freaking great. I really love Aftershoot. I will reiterate again that you definitely need to work with it a little bit, and don't just try it once and write it off for you, but try it a couple times, give it a go, let it like train it, let it learn your preferences, and see how much time it's going to save you in your business and in your life. Because now I don't have to worry so much about like spending hours and hours culling. I can cull 2 sessions in a day and I'm not mentally drained. So I can spend it focusing on things like my podcast or like responding to my clients that I need to do, instead of waiting to do it at 9 p.m. because I just didn't have the energy or the time to do it until then. So it is a very big help, a very good program. You know, my DMs are always open if you have questions about it. I do have a discount code if you guys want to use it. I will link it in the show notes so that way you guys can give it a try and let me know what you think. Tell me if you try it out and if you like it. Again, if you have questions, just let me know. I'm happy to answer. We can also set up a mentor session if you want to go more deep dive into it and figure out how to fit this program into your workflow, because sometimes it's complicated and it doesn't exactly look like mine. So that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you figure out what's going to work best in your business, and I'm always cheering you on. So see you guys next time.